The text message landed while I was standing at the gate, passport in my hand, my life neatly packed into a carry-on. Do not board. We told the senator's family you're in rehab. Your presence ruins the aesthetic. We gave your seat to the dog. For a second, I honestly thought my brain had misfired. Like when you read the same line twice, and the meaning slides away. Then my phone buzzed again. Instagram notification. My sister, Chloe, lived from seat 1A. The seat I paid for. She was smiling into the camera, her lips glossy, her hair perfect, holding her French bulldog like a baby. Finally got rid of the bad energy. Family cleanse. I didn't cry. I didn't yell at the gate agent. I didn't beg. Something inside me went very quiet. For the first time in my life, sadness didn't come. Only math. They thought they were erasing me. They didn't realize they had just declared war on the wrong woman. I turned around and walked away from the gate. I wasn't flying to Aspen to join them. I was going to end them. I'm 29 years old. To my family, I am Elena, the struggling freelance IT consultant with a studio apartment and an old gray sedan. The one who's smart but unstable. The one who never quite fits. They think I scrape by. They think I need their approval to feel real. They have no idea that last month I negotiated a $600 million cyber logistics contract for the Department of Defense. They don't know my studio apartment is a decoy address, used only for mail. They don't know my real home is a glass and steel fortress carved into a mountain outside Aspen, worth more than everything they own combined. They don't know I could buy the airline they just humiliated me on. I stopped at a kiosk and bought a bottle of water. My hand shook as I tapped my card. Not from heartbreak, but from clarity so sharp it almost hurt. I had been paying for their lives for years. When Chloe graduated college, my mother Margaret pulled me aside, eyes wet, voice trembling. The loans are crushing us, she whispered. $80,000. I paid it off the next morning. No thank you. Just a text from Chloe asking if I could also cover her healing trip to Bali. I paid for that too. The car I bought when my mother's died. The security deposit on the Aspen rental they were staying in right now. The quiet fixes. The invisible rescues. I thought I was buying love. But in a toxic family, you're not a daughter. You're an appliance. You're kept as long as you're useful. And when they upgrade, when a fiancé with a senator for father enters the picture, you're not demoted. You're discarded. Margaret didn't uninvite me because she was ashamed of me. She uninvited me because she had found a better supplier. I stepped out into the cold airport air, letting the wind bite my face. They thought I'd go back to my fake apartment and cry. They forgot my job isn't just building systems. It's dismantling threats. My phone vibrated again. Security alert. Transaction declined. Amount: $200,000. Merchant: Rolex Boutique, Aspen. I froze. The card number wasn't mine. Not my personal account. Not my business one. It was the matte black titanium card I kept locked in my old bedroom at my mother's house. A federal procurement card. Issued directly by the Department of Defense. Margaret had gone into my room, broken the lock, found the card. To her, it probably just looked like proof I'd been lying about my money. A limitless credit line she felt entitled to use, likely to impress her new, powerful almost son-in-law. A normal daughter would panic. Call the bank. Shut it down. Protect her mother. I hovered my thumb over the screen. Then I remembered the text. We gave your seat to the dog. I remembered the years of being their ATM. The way my mother looked at me when I paid off her mortgage, not grateful. Expectant. She didn't want my money. She believed it belonged to her. I moved my thumb. If I approved the charge, this wouldn't be theft for me. This would be embezzlement of federal funds. There would be no undoing it. No apologies. No family forgiveness tour. Margaret wanted to play in a world of power. Fine. I tapped authorized transaction. Somewhere in Aspen, my mother was smiling at a sales clerk, completely unaware she had just snapped a platinum handcuff around her own wrist. The trap wasn't just set. It was sealed. I slipped my phone back into my pocket, my chest settling into a cold, diamond-hard calm. I wasn't going home. I had a holiday to reclaim. And I already knew this was only the beginning. I didn't book another flight. I didn't scroll travel apps or look for last-minute seats like a rejected extra in someone else's movie. I opened my encrypted contacts and dialed a number I hadn't used in over a year. "I need the Global 7500, I said the moment the broker answered. 2 hours. Aspen. And send black SUVs to these addresses." I sent him 25 locations. My mother's biggest mistake wasn't kicking me out. It was kicking everyone else out too. Aunt Rachel, who made the best potato salad in the family but wore thrift store coats. Uncle Tom, a mechanic with grease permanently embedded under his nails. My cousins. And Grandma Evelyn, who Margaret had shoved into a nursing home for her own good, while telling everyone she was too frail to travel. The people who didn't look good on Instagram. The people who actually held the family together. I sent one message to the group Margaret had labeled "not fitting the vibe." "Mom said there wasn't room for you in Aspen." She lied. "A car is outside your house right now. Pack for snow. We're taking back the holiday." They didn't ask questions. Hurt has a way of turning into motion when someone finally opens a door. 2 hours later, they stood on the tarmac, clutching mismatched suitcases, staring at a $75 million jet glowing under floodlights. "Aren't we lost?" Aunt Rachel whispered. "You're exactly where you're supposed to be," I said, helping Grandma Evelyn up the stairs. Inside the cabin, confusion turned into shock, then into something I hadn't felt at a family gathering in years. Joy. My cousins laughed like kids. Uncle Tom reclined in a leather seat that cost more than his truck. Grandma Evelyn held a crystal glass like it might disappear if she blinked. "For once," she murmured, "no one is telling me to be quiet." At 45,000 feet, I felt something inside me unclench. My phone buzzed. "Margaret, Venmo me $5,000. The rental needs a bigger deposit. And Chloe wants a spa day for the senator's wife. Don't ignore me. You owe us." I looked out the window at the curve of the earth. She thought she was squeezing me for one last drop. She had no idea I was drinking champagne at Mach 0.9. I didn't reply. The SUVs climbed the private access road as twilight settled over the mountains. Heated pavement melted the snow beneath us. Then the trees opened. My house. Steel and glass suspended over the mountain's edge, glowing like a lantern in the blue dark. "Who lives here?" Uncle Tom asked, stunned. "I do," I said. Silence filled the car. The good kind. The kind that comes when reality finally lands. Inside, the fire was roaring. Staff I'd hired at triple holiday rates moved quietly, respectfully. I seated Grandma Evelyn at the head of the table. "No kids' table tonight," I told her. Her eyes filled with tears. "Your mother said you were struggling." "She says a lot of things," I answered gently. Dinner was unreal. Truffle risotto, Wagyu beef, wine older than my cousins. For once, no one calculated prices. No one argued. No one felt small. But the real course hadn't been served yet. "Everyone," I said, tapping my glass, "please look out the north window." The automated blinds rose. Below us, far down the slope, sat a modest luxury rental. Dark, cramped, glowing weakly. Tiny figures moved inside. "That's your mom," Aunt Rachel whispered. "Yes," I said. "And she can see us." I pressed a button. Outside, a 40-foot LED wall powered on, facing them. A live 4K feed of our table exploded across the snow below. Grandma Evelyn laughing. My cousins clinking glasses. Us, together. My phone rang instantly. I put it on speaker and set it down. "What is happening?" Margaret shrieked. "There's a giant screen outside. Are you here?" "I'm right above you, Mom," I said calmly. "Look up." On the screen, a 40-foot version of me raised her glass. "Turn it off," she screamed. "You're humiliating us." "I thought I was in rehab," I replied. "Crazy people do crazy things, right?" The room around me erupted in laughter. I hung up. For 12 perfect minutes, it felt like victory. Then the sirens came. Red and white lights strobed through my glass walls. And I knew with cold certainty that my mother was done pretending. She was escalating. And she was about to make her most dangerous move yet. The sirens didn't sound like police. They were sharper, faster, desperate. An ambulance tore up my driveway, lights bouncing violently off the glass walls of my house. Uncle Tom stood halfway from his chair, confused. Did someone call for help? Yes, I said quietly. My mother. The front doors burst open before anyone could react. Margaret didn't walk in. She charged. Her face was twisted into pure panic, the kind that looks convincing if you don't know the person wearing it. Behind her rushed two men in scrubs carrying a restraint chair. And between them, clipboard clutched his chest like armor, was Dr. Keller, a family friend who'd lost his license years ago but still enjoyed playing doctor. Oh, thank God, Margaret cried, throwing her arms toward me. We made it in time, sweetheart. The room went dead silent. She's spiraling, my mother sobbed, turning to Aunt Rachel. She stopped taking her meds. The rehab center called me. She's having delusions, thinks she owns this house, thinks she's wealthy. I felt my heart slam against my ribs, but my voice stayed steady. Get away from me. Margaret ignored me completely. She broke in. She continued, nodding at Dr. Keller. She's squatting. She's dangerous. This was her masterpiece. Deny. Attack. Reverse victim and offender. I wasn't the daughter she'd stolen from. I was the unstable threat she was heroically saving everyone from. I do own this house, I said. Margaret gasped dramatically. See? Delusions of grandeur. Dr. Keller stepped forward, pen already moving. Elena, I'm placing you on a 72-hour psychiatric hold. Grandma Evelyn protested. My cousins froze. Confusion rippled through the room. The orderlies grabbed me. For the first time that night, fear sliced through my calm. Not fear of them. Fear of how easily lies could still trap me. Margaret leaned close, stroking my cheek. I'll handle your accounts while you rest, she whispered. I always do. That was her endgame. Commit me. Seize guardianship. Drain everything. Then blue lights flashed. Real ones. Police cruisers slid into the driveway behind the ambulance. An officer stepped inside. Are you Margaret Hale? Her face lit up with relief. Yes. Thank God, officer. My daughter. You're under investigation for wire fraud and federal embezzlement. Silence detonated. I lifted my phone, the government seal glowing on the screen. That card you used wasn't mine. It was a federal procurement card. The orderlies released me instantly. Margaret's mouth opened. Closed. You stole $200,000 from the United States government. Her knees buckled. The officer cuffed her as she screamed my name, demanding I fix it. But federal theft isn't personal. It doesn't care about tears. Dr. Keller was escorted out for questioning. Chloe checked her phone. Her senator boyfriend had blocked her. You ruined everything, she sobbed. No, I said softly. I stopped paying for it. Margaret was led away, screaming into the snow. The hierarchy collapsed in real time. Later, outside, Grandma Evelyn squeezed my hand. She'll never forgive you. I know, I said. That's how I know I'm free. The house felt clean again. But as the wind carried the sirens away, I knew this wasn't over yet. Some fires take time to burn out. And mine was still glowing. The silence after they took her was louder than the sirens. Snow drifted softly onto the empty driveway, covering the tire tracks like the mountain itself was erasing evidence. Inside, no one spoke at first. My cousins stood close together, stunned. Aunt Rachel wiped her eyes. Uncle Tom just kept shaking his head, like the laws of physics had suddenly changed. I felt light, not happy, not triumphant. Free. Grandma Evelyn was the first to move. She reached for my hand, her grip stronger than anyone expected. She would have destroyed you, she said quietly. Piece by piece. I watched her try. For years, I thought love meant endurance. Staying. Paying. Explaining myself until my throat burned. I thought peace was something you earned by being small enough not to threaten anyone. I was wrong. Peace is what happens when the thread is removed. We stayed up late that night. No champagne theatrics. No screens. Just real conversations. Stories I'd never heard because no one had ever given them space. I learned my uncle once wanted to open his own shop. That my aunt had written poetry and hidden it away. That my cousins had spent their whole lives feeling like background noise. Margaret had needed us quiet. I didn't. The next morning, sunlight poured through the glass walls, bright and merciless. My phone buzzed nonstop, unknown numbers, voicemails, messages from extended family who had suddenly always believed in me. I didn't answer. I called my lawyer instead, then my security team, then the bank. By noon, every account Margaret had ever touched was locked behind biometric access she would never have. The Aspen rental? Eviction notice served. The nursing home contract for Grandma Evelyn? Terminated, replaced with a private suite overlooking a lake, chosen by her. Chloe tried once. A long voicemail, oscillating between rage and pleading. You didn't have to go nuclear, she cried. She's our mother. I deleted it. Being someone's mother doesn't give you the right to own them. That afternoon, Grandma Evelyn stood on my terrace, wrapped in a thick coat, staring out at the mountains. Your house is beautiful, she said. But what I love most is that it's honest. That night, after everyone had gone to bed, I stood alone in the living room. The place where I'd once been strapped into a chair. Where my mother had tried to erase me with a lie. I expected to feel echoes of fear. Instead, I felt grounded. Margaret would tell her story, of course. About her unstable daughter. About betrayal. About how money changed me. Let her. I finally understood something she never would. I wasn't powerful because I had money. I had money because I had survived her. The next morning, I packed away the last decoy of my old life. The fake apartment lease, the misleading email signatures, the carefully curated smallness. I didn't need to hide anymore. I wasn't an appliance. I wasn't a secret. I was a woman who built systems and knew exactly when to burn one down. As the sun rose over the mountains, the air tasted clean, like a beginning. And for the first time in my life, I wasn't bracing for impact. I was standing exactly where I belonged.